Welcome to the Warren Thomas Communications and Collaboration Show with Feed Lucas County Children and our partners. I'm here with Warren Thomas. Hi, Warren.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. We have a lot to go over, so we're going to get right to it. Warren, you're now moving towards being a national advertiser, creating television shows and also creating national internet and radio shows, along with local internet, radio, and television shows. Here in this city alone, you are actually producing 20 shows every single month, and on top of that, you're producing and promoting 6,000 awareness messages to the public. This will take a tremendous amount of energy. You've been told you should be resting because of your chronic fatigue, and you don't really like to be in the forefront like being on television.
Right.
But the business owners say that you have what's called the X factor, and when you speak and advocate them, people listen.
Well, I believe it's more of the truth factor. If you're going to take entrepreneurs as an example, and these campaigns we're doing go across the board for churches and entrepreneurs and such important work such as we're going to be doing and that Tony Siebenek is doing with, or is doing together with Feed the Children Lucas County. But to use that as an example, if we're speaking about the entrepreneurs, it's very important we say support them, but people have to understand why. Okay, so, and X Factor and all of that's nice, but people understand that when you break it down, that the vast majority of jobs in this city and across this nation are created by that little guy, that little entrepreneur, and then it makes a big difference. So, for example, in Ohio, I think it's, and it changes so quick, 9 out of 10 jobs are created by that little guy.
That's a huge number.
Yes, and the workers are important, and you know they become family, and the little guy needs the workers too. But that's an absolute fact, and it doesn't matter whether we go across the board politically. Okay, that's admitted to, so that is very, very vital. So I believe that's going to be one aspect that is going to be able to help us, okay, in our campaigns and to start solving some problems.
Well, I know the way you're setting up these shows is different from what your team would like to see you to do, because you don't like to know the questions before they're asked.
Right.
And I worked for a network, and I was called into my boss's office and said that I was going to be having to handle a man, and he's basically a creative genius. But he is going to have 1,000 questions, and he's going to be very challenging.
Right.
And she basically said, put your thinking cap on, even prior to meeting him. Did that have anything to do with your uncle, who was actually a famous showman and set box office records across the nation, and a mother who was a pioneer, an amazing entrepreneur?
Yes, I would say there's a lot to do with that, but if we use that as an example, why I would challenge anyone or challenge you when we first met or anything that we were doing is because if you look to that at that time, I had different enterprises that promoting and doing things, and I want to know that if I'm sitting across from someone, that they're the right person if you were handling for that network at that time. If I don't challenge you and ask a lot of questions, then I can't be the best, whether it's the vocations or the enterprises that I was helping. So I don't look at it as being challenging. I call it spirited debate sometimes. And we have that within our own team, which is the greatest marketing team you could ever put together. You know, have won awards, professional sports, and everything. Sometimes we go at it in our own way, but it's a good spirited thing. So it's not a matter of who's right or who's wrong with that. Let's come to the proper conclusion with it.
Well, I would like you to elaborate a little bit on your uncle, who was as far as you as a person is concerned, you watched both him and your mother from a little boy.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, you've got to see how things really can work. And they were very hands-on, but they changed people's lives. And they would challenge, okay, because they wanted the best for if it were their employees or their team or anything else. And, you know, in their own way, giants. I got to have that front row seat as a little boy. Most people, you know, at 5 and 6 years old, that was part of your life.
Sure.
You were with your uncle. You watched him on a phone. You watched him do behind the scenes having things done. You watched him, whether it was Joey Bishop and the big stars talking to. And, you know, I'll give you an example with this show. Joey, you have to be more spontaneous with some things. And but you watched behind the scenes how things would happen.
Sure.
And, you know, he had it as an example. He would take me with him, and I think he liked me because I was quiet and I listened. And he would say, there's an illusionary world, and then there's a real world. Let me show you the real world. So, yes, he was, you know, an absolute genius in his own way. So you've got to see behind the scenes. You got to see when, you know, people, the big cities lined up for blocks to see him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a very religious man behind the stage before he would go out, and that crowd roaring. But you watched everything come together, and the only one that was special to get is to sit behind there and watch him pray before he went out, and then that spirit, that magic of things. But, you know, and the other thing with him was life's pretty simple. People make it hard. Challenge them, okay? Partner up with good people. Make sure they win, even if sometimes you have to lose. But if they can't partner up and they're not loyal, move away from there very quickly and never look back. So that's why with the things we're doing, it's very important that that team's put together.
Mm-hmm. And to have mentors like that. Not everyone has that opportunity to have mentors like that starting
Absolutely.
from such a young
It's a
age.
gift.
And it actually can mold you, does mold you into what you are today.
Well, we have many different influences, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's why with the show I like the spontaneity, and I believe that it will take 10 shows with Tony Siebenek as an example on the show before you get to see all of the different beautiful things and this marvelous, wonderful man, okay, that picked up a paper in this city, happened to see the children were going hungry, okay, took the courage of heart to me to recognize it, then the great spirit to seek and to look, and found that it was worse than what people had thought, and then sat down with friends and families. That's a story. It must be darn good friends and families and other people that cared.
Sure.
Okay? And at that point in time, had anyone said, in fact, they didn't. He received anonymous letters. Okay? Why would you be helping them? Okay, if they're poor and they're disadvantaged, they don't care. And most of them, all they care about are drugs. So the analogy is to, with him, we knew we were on the right track. Now, I wouldn't doubt that many of those people were writing that letters, or those letters. Their own children may be part of that program today, because from 2002, at this date and time, things have changed.
Sure.
But no one would have believed at that point that hot, nutritious meals could be served, okay, at no cost, and that at this point in time, as of last year, I think it's 240,000 meals served. Now, it also took the walking with him in the neighborhoods, in the church. So you see, many complexities that, to me, that's the important thing. There were different schools that cared, when some organizations that were supposed to be a part of this, that was their work, that didn't. Do you see?
Absolutely.
There were, which proves the point when we say no one can work together. So these many wonderful churches, businesses, individuals, okay, individuals too, that believed, well, that's an amazing thing what's been done.
Collaboration. They've come together.
Well, not just collaboration. We don't want meetings without things happening.
Right.
There's a lot of meetings. This is about also now that it's fine to meet, but, you know, the whole country is tired of a lot of meetings and not the demonstration. So this is important to me with Tony, and why I want things in my way to be able to speak. Tony's not going to probably tell you a lot of these things himself, but I've watched this man, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And to give you an example, last night, he calls and he couldn't make it, and he feels bad. I feel like I've let you down. No, Tony. Tony is taking care and doing work, okay, working still the 16-hour days for these children here.
Right.
And I don't want that lost in people not being aware, because I think that individual, when you know about him, that 93 cents of every dollar is going to feed the children, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
the money's going where it's supposed to be going.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, we're going to have to take a break right now.
okay.
Okay. You've been watching the Warren Thomas Communications and Collaboration Show with Feed Lucas County Children and Partners. Don't go away. There's going to be vitally important messages of awareness, great information for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Beth Gleason, Senior Communicator and Analyst for Warren Thomas Communications. Tony Siebenek is one of the unsung heroes in our community. There's a very important story about Tony and the vitally important agency, Feed Lucas County Children and their partners.
I'm really excited to be working with Warren Thomas Communications.
Awareness is the key. It is within our reach to feed more than 25,000 children in Lucas County who don't have enough food to eat. When the school year ends, so do those school lunch programs that give most of them at least one hot, nutritious meal a day. Poor and hungry, some children are so desperate they dive into dumpsters to search through the garbage for their next meal. Many children and families living in poverty don't know where to turn for help. How can this be in a community of such grace and grit? Warren Thomas believes, again, awareness is the key and a campaign that will not stop until the play of our children ends. The fact is, we have enough food. Therefore, our children should not be going hungry. The fact is, there are many wonderful local businesses, churches, agencies, institutions, foundations, and individuals too, who last year served over 240,000 meals by partnering with Feed Lucas County Children, Inc. An amazing accomplishment, helping to make Feed Lucas County Children, Inc. one of Ohio's largest children food programs, proving what can be done when vocations from all different areas truly collaborate and walk together. Become a partner of the Warren Thomas campaign to end the hunger pains of our children through awareness right here where we live. And once again, thank you, Tony Siebenek and Feed Lucas County Children's Inc. and Partners. You are truly unsung heroes.